Hey, this is the Full Mental Alchemist podcast, and this is a different kind of episode because it's nonfiction. So, for most of my 20s, I drove full time for a rideshare company in Los Angeles. One of my favorite sayings about this city is that 30 million people live here, and if 1 out of 10 of those people is an asshole, that's 3 million assholes that live here. That's a lot of assholes for a conservative estimate. That's also the average amount of assholes I pick up driving. For the sake of some kind of theme here, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you about 3 different people I met during the day and 3 people I met at night. Alright. So, passenger number 1. I pull up to the curb of a nice beach house on PCH where a clean cut older gentleman was waiting. Greg gets in the front seat. Picture a Mr. Rogers looking guy. And he introduces himself and we get to talking. He's got a daughter my age and he just got her the same model Honda that I'm driving. He comes across as a decent, caring dad who just wants what's best for his kids overall. He started a plumbing business to better provide for his family and is doing pretty well financially. Greg tells me that I'm taking him to a bachelor party for one of his friends. When we get to the motel that I'm dropping him off at, he asks if I wouldn't mind taking him to get some pizzas. I don't mind. He says that's great, just give him a minute. Greg goes into the hotel room for pizza money and comes back with an Asian prostitute that seems to know him very well. She gets in the back and he hops in the front. Now his phone starts ringing and the girl in the back asks, "Who's calling? Who's calling? Who are you talking to? Is it your wife?" That's when he hangs up and he screams, "You want to see who's fucking calling me, stupid fucking whore? Huh? And then he hurls the phone over my shoulder, hitting the lady in the back seat, who's laughing maniacally at him. Greg ends up giving me a slice of pepperoni pizza and a $13 tip when I drop them both back off at the hotel. Passenger number 2. I met George picking up him and his 2 small children, who were both wearing headphones and they were content playing on their tablets in the back seat. He tells me he's a recently single father, and they're living with his mother because his ex-wife got addicted to crystal meth and lost their business and their house. We're on our way to meet her in the parking lot of a grocery store nearby. George is going to give her water bottles and toilet paper in exchange for the keys to his truck that she stole. I park at the end of the lot, and he asks if I can watch his kids. When he gets out with a bag of supplies, he tells me that if his ex-wife gets crazy, just go ahead and leave with the kids, take off with them. He'll call and tell me where to meet him later. Now, while the kids are playing their games in the back, I'm watching their parents' meeting in the rearview mirror. And this wild dirty haired shaggy lady creature holds out the keys as he holds out the brown bag. And then she tries taking both the bag and the keys. George pushes her down and wrestles the keys out of her hand, then runs back to my car. She's collecting items off the ground that fell out of the bag, and she's putting them back in. He hurries back inside my car and tells me to hurry up, just as this fucking she-demon claws at my passenger window, hissing and shit. And then we make our escape. Passenger number 3. So it's early, probably around 7 a.m. on a beautiful Sunday morning in Long Beach. I pull up outside this small suburban mansion, and this old man comes outside wearing just a bathrobe and his underwear. He looks like Hugh Hefner, but he says his name is Mike. His son Junior will be outside in a minute. They're going back home together. Then this young Hispanic dude, covered in face tattoos, wearing a muscle shirt and low-hanging jeans, hops in the back seat. They did not look related, but they might as well have been twins the way they acted. The son and dad begin to argue over which one of them this girl last night wanted to fuck. So apparently she made out with both Junior and Senior in the hot tub at the party, an hour or two apart. Junior proceeds to reach over and grab one of my water bottles in the front seat and starts chugging it down before throwing it under my seat. He goes on and on about how she for sure wanted to fuck him and not his dad. Then he grabs my shoulders and goes, "Hey, yo, water. Who you think she trying to smash? Me or this old man?" I could not believe these were real people. Like, for sure, this is some weird prank video show, and I'm like looking for the camera. I told him I had no opinion, and he goes, "Nah, water, man. You gotta have an opinion." I was flabbergasted. I said she'd be a lucky girl if she ended up with either one of them. Then we make it to their house, another small McMansion, and an older woman with a matching bathrobe to Mike Sr. is waiting on the front lawn. Junior is laughing his ass off, telling me how his stepmom is going to give it to his dad right now. I should definitely stay and watch this. She's screaming before they open the door, and I drive out of there as fast as I can when they close it. Passenger number 4. So it's around 11 p.m. when I'm driving past the bar scene in downtown, and I get a ride outside the Legends Cantina. It's for the guy escorting his drunk sister and her friend to my car. His sister passes out in my front seat as soon as he drops her. Her friend is in the back seat hollering for me to take her to Jack in the Box. The brother tells me to ignore her as he closes their doors and sends them off with me. The hungry girl in the back doesn't like me ignoring her drive-through request and makes this 15-minute ride feel like 15 hours. When we finally get to the sister's apartment complex, her hungry friend and I have to team lift her out of the car and onto the front lawn. With that done, I look over inside my car and it's clean. No puke, no mess. It's all good. Mission success. On my next ride, I pick up a friendly brother and sister visiting California from the Midwest. He rides up front and she rides in the back. After I drop them off, I get a phone call from them. Maybe they forgot something. Nope. The sister wanted to tell me that her brother's pants felt wet. And then she says, "Didn't I say that the last girl I picked up passed out in my front seat?" I hang up and pull over. And there it is. Under my phone light is a giant dark stain on my front passenger seat. My phone rings again, and it's Piss Girl's brother now, asking if she left her phone in my car. Passenger number 5. I'm picking up a girl named Jennifer. It's 2 a.m. outside of this dark, gross, gnarly looking hotel in Koreatown. Waiting outside, I'm debating canceling the ride and leaving. Like, this is sketch. And then this short, blue-eyed, pretty girl in a hoodie hops in my back seat. She's very nice and polite. She asks if I wouldn't mind following this guy on a moped scooter who pulls out in front of us. We tail him a few blocks to an ATM outside of a gas station. She asks if I'm okay parking here at the pump for a moment while she deals with him. I tell her I'm fine with that. She meets him at the ATM. He gives her money. She gives him a brown paper bag. They part ways, and she gets in my back seat again. Jennifer, it turns out, deals heroin and has been doing so the last few years. When I asked how she got into that, she told me she needed a new line of work after they put out a warrant for her arrest back in Colorado. She says I'm cool, then leaves me a $20 tip when I drop her off. Ooh, pardon me. Just wanted to get a drink. Okay. Passenger 6. It's around midnight when I pick up Candy outside her gated community in Orange County. She's a blonde working girl going to a hotel in Hollywood for a date. It's a long drive, even without traffic, so we talk for a bit. She says I'm a good guy and would prefer to ride back with me rather than some random driver. When we arrive at the hotel off Sunset, she asks if I can wait for her. Candy assures me this usual customer is pretty quick, and she'd be 20 minutes tops. She says it'll be worth my while, then hands me $80. I tell her to take her time, and I put on a Joe Rogan podcast while I wait out front. She's back in 15 minutes. And I made close to $300 between the rides and the $80 tip. Alrighty, that is the end of this little experiment that I'm doing. I don't know if I'm going to keep writing nonfiction or keep doing stuff like this. I don't know. I thought these were kind of cool. These actually happened. Just a handful of stories that I felt like telling. Anyway, thanks for listening. That's all, folks.